Mic check, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Hip Hop Snapshots, your new favorite guilty pleasure podcast. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Over the holidays, I was watching the new Dave Chappelle stand-up. When I tell you go watch it, he's one of my favorites. But in the middle of it, he starts talking about the Hip Hop Task Force. And me being the nerd that I am, I'm like, ooh, I've heard about that. I remember seeing a video of Prodigy from Mobb Deep, rest in peace, talk about how something about that. So what did I do? I grabbed my crates, I started digging, and this episode is going to be about what I found out. So grab that milk crate, put your tinfoil hats on. Ooh, it's time to talk about hip hop history. You know, at first it sounds like conspiracy. Police watching rappers, tracking lyrics, ranking concerts by risk. But then we found some reporting pointing to something very real. The NYPD's Enterprise Operations Unit, or sometimes referred to as the RAP Unit. It was a real thing. This wasn't an internet rumor or some blog grain of truth. According to multiple reports, including internal New York Police Department documents from 2019, said this unit wasn't just looking at violence, it was actively surveilling. Monitoring hip-hop concerts, ranking shows and artists by risk level threat assessment, deploying undercover officers to gather intel, compiling assessments tied to gangs, drugs, and violence. They were also flagging people and events for future tracking. Doesn't sound like a conspiracy. Sounds like an intelligence squad, right? Follow me some more here. Here we go. And here's the twist of it all. If you were to ask New York Police Department if there was ever a hip-hop task force, officially, they'll tell you no formal title, no dedicated rap police existed. No press release, no badge that says rap unit on it. But detectives, on record, admitted to working hip-hop shows, watching videos, reading lyrics, writing reports, looking at comments. Sometimes they called it the rap unit, sometimes enterprise operations, sometimes just quote-unquote assignments. Which is the coldest part of all this? If there's no official name to it, then there's no formal oversight. Does that kind of ring bells? You remember The Wire, one of the greatest TV shows of all time? Now, hip-hop wasn't being policed loudly. It was being monitored very quietly. And here's where it gets dangerous. Rap lyrics, metaphors, bravado, storytelling. They were treated like confessions. Not art, not expression, but evidence. A rapper talks about the block. Police say that's location data. A video shows friends and rivals together. Now that's a conspiracy. A lyric names a crew. That's motive. Meanwhile, rock musicians shout about murder and getting blackout drunk while doing ABC. It's art. Country singers talk about violence. It's heritage. Rappers do it, and suddenly it's criminal intent. That's double standards. That isn't accidental. It's structural. It's intentional. Now, here's where we take two steps back to see the bigger picture, because there's multiple shades of gray in this. This isn't just about one police unit. This is part of a historical pattern. Let's go back to the 1960s. The FBI ran something called the COINTELPRO, a program designed to surveil, infiltrate, discredit, disrupt, and neutralize black leaders and movements. We're talking about the Black Panther Party, MLK, Malcolm X's circle, communities demanding change. The message wasn't subtle. If your voice is organized and powerful, we got eyes on you. COINTELPRO wasn't about crime, it was about control. And though the name has vanished from official use, the playbook didn't disappear by any means. In history, jazz venues were surveilled. So artists were watched. Activists singing songs about injustice were tracked and compiled on lists. Hip-hop has now entered that lineage. The same system that once labeled a black activist group a threat now treats black music as intelligence. Different era, same fear. Different soundtrack, same playbook. Hip-hop just became the newest language of resistance. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Hip hop isn't a monolith. It's not one thing. There are people living the reality that they rap. Artists using art to protest and heal. Performers playing exaggerated characters. Some came to mind as I said that. Other individuals who never lived, quote unquote, the life pretending they did. Rick Ross. I'm sorry. Respectfully. And rumors of individuals who played roles to shape the culture's image. 6ix9ine. None of those categories should be criminalized on site. Just off rip, it shouldn't be. Freedom of speech. But when law enforcement treats the expression of experience as equivalent to proof of crime, that's not prevention, that's profiling. And for the class, let me say that one more time. When the law enforcement treats the expression of experience as equivalent to proof of crime, that's not prevention. It is, say it with me, profiling. And that's why this episode matters. It's history. There's documentation that proves it. Most artists never went to jail over a verse. Most concerts still happen, but the damage wasn't loud, it was quiet. Knowing your words could be subpoenaed, knowing someone in plain clothes might be in the crowd, knowing your art could turn into evidence, that changes creativity. Some artists self-censor, some encode their art, some avoid certain topics altogether. That's not safety, that's containment. Hip-hop didn't get locked in cells, it got boxed into a fear of expression for some. So when Dave Chappelle mentions a hip-hop task force, he's not just doing it for laughs and giggles. He's reminding us that when a culture speaks loudly about their truth, when it points at systems that tells stories that nobody else will, somebody starts taking notes. Not because they fear music, but because they fear what it tells the world. Mic check, mic check. That's another episode of Hip Hop Snapshots. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Thanks for tuning in. I'm a hip hop nerd. I'm not a historian by any means. I just love talking about it. So thank you for tuning in. But until next time, dig through crates, learn something, be hip hop, but keep your head on a swivel because hip hop was never just about the music. And that's exactly why some people are watching it right now. All right, I'm out. Peace.